starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neal as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connelly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Martin Peyton has been challenged. A few hours ago, Stephen Cord's wife, Betty, accused Peyton of using Adrienne Van Leyden as a means of breaking up her marriage, and thus achieving the provisions of his bizarre last will and testament. Peyton denied the accusation, but Betty was right. And Peyton knew he had to act without delay, now. Peyton's counter move is to take Adrienne Van Leyden on a mysterious trip out of town. A trip that momentarily blocks Stephen Cord's efforts to subpoena the old man's will as evidence of his mental incompetency.
You ought to train that secretary of yours, Stephen.
I told her to leap to attention whenever you showed up. You here for the old man?
That's right.
Well, try not to get it greasy.
Well, how do you know that I won't untie it or steam it open and learn all your secrets?
My friend, if you as much as attempt to steam it open, you'll wind up in the hospital with second-degree burns and the embarrassment of handing Martin Peyton a dripping wet folder.
I'll tell your grandfather that you said to have a nice drive.
Weber? What was the Hate Stevens speech this morning?
Hate Stephen. Are you pumping me?
Yes, I am.
Well, let's see. I arrived to work on time, and the old man greeted me with a, "We're going to Boston. Do you think we can arrive there without incident?" And then he asked me again because he didn't think I knew what the word incident meant.
Fine. What was the Hate Stevens speech?
Before I left the house, he said it's such a nice day to chop up Stephen. I'll see you, Counselor.
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Mr. Kennerly, please.
Who's calling, please?
Stephen Cord.
Thank you.
Well, hello, Stephen. You're still missed around here, you know. If you're thinking of coming back to the big city...
Well, that's not what I'm calling about.
Oh? Why did you call?
Have you heard from Mr. Peyton about the subpoena?
I'm expecting him here this afternoon.
Oh. All right. Thank you.
Stephen.
Yes?
If we're going to be on opposite sides of the courtroom in this matter, I doubt if it's wise for you to be calling me like this.
Well, I won't bother you again.
Hello, Rita.
Hi, Rod. Yeah, I have some water.
Sure, go ahead. What are you doing, your laps?
Yeah, Ms. Carson came with me. I just have to take a pill. Can I ask you something?
Yeah?
Do you understand your father?
Well, I don't know. Why?
He came to see me.
What about?
He wanted me to convince Norm to convince...
Oh, well, that's called the Leslie Harrington syndrome.
Well, didn't convince me.
What was it about?
Norm's future.
Go on.
Well, I just can't see Norm happy behind a desk or as an executive trainee or whatever it's called.
So what'd you tell him?
Nothing. That it was up to Norm to decide. Obviously, it's up to him to decide what he wants to do with his own life.
Yeah, but it's not always so obvious to Dad.
What would you do if you were Norm?
I've been trying to second-guess that character most of my life. I haven't come up with the right answers yet.
That's what I figured. Thanks anyway. And thanks for the water.
Sure. How do you feel?
Like hitting the next person who asks me that. See you later.
Anybody home?
Oh, I forgot to wear the sign around my neck. I usually wear one every morning that says, private property, keep out. Everybody get away, especially relatives. And no, I don't have an extra sandwich.
You seen the morning paper?
Nope. Okay, I've seen it.
What's Dad's connection with it?
How do I know? Who says there's any connection?
Well, he hired Chandler. That's a connection.
You know, you're awful nosy.
Doesn't bother me.
Okay, what'll it take to get you off my back?
I want to know what's going on.
All right, so if you find out what's going on, it's gonna tie your hands and feet and stuff a gag in your mouth?
So tell me.
All right. It's 3 a.m. Rita's in the hospital, and Norman can't sleep. So he decides to go for a little stroll to the square. The lonely square. And who does he see standing at the window? The cell window. The almighty master of the mill. He rode up on his trusty steed. That's the facts.
Well, what did you do?
Well, Norman's poverty-stricken mind got an idea. So that morning, I went right over to the mill and asked the almighty master for a job.
Well, that's blackmail.
Well, those old-time movies, gangster movies, finally paid off.
What's the deal?
The deal is I keep my mouth shut. I keep my job. Make me financially solvent.
What's happened to you?
I just decided to grow up.
You're not growing up, you're giving up.
That's just words.
You know, you're not just covering for Dad, you're covering for Chandler.
I need money.
They're gonna catch him eventually, Norman. And he'll talk. Wouldn't it be better to get the whole thing cleared up now?
No, because every day that man's free, I make 3 and 4 hours overtime. I'm that much ahead.
Let's go to Dad.
I already have. And he bought a very expensive package of silence.
He can't buy mine.
Look. Rod, will you wait a minute? What are you trying to do? Put Dad in jail and put me on welfare? You trying to prove you're the only good guy in town? For what?
dreary.
It's called Boston Conservative. It's the Wainwright and Kennerly image.
Dreary.
How much do you want?
What kind of a question is that, Martin?
A very practical question. 50,000?
Are you trying to make this an ordeal?
100,000.
Because you're succeeding?
Real estate?
Or do you just want me to back out of this?
My dear, all I want is to know what you want.
You really are very cruel.
But very generous.
I want the letter, Martin.
And?
That's all that I want.
You never had so much trouble before, placing a monetary value on yourself?
Do we have to bring that up?
I merely wanted to point out the inconsistency in your coyness. Why don't you simply say to me, Martin, my dear, I don't know how much you're worth. And until I do, I don't know what to ask you for. After all, in your distant and colorful past, you always knew the financial pedigrees of your gentleman caller.
Stop it, Martin.
How about a bank? An apartment building? Or a shopping center?
All right. I want it all.
All?
Everything.